Identify myself here first, and please don't boo me or throw me out of the room. I got to tell you, my name is Ken Paris, and I'm a resident of the city of Dearborn, and I'm very interested in this subject, and that's why I am here tonight. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with your councilwoman here about a week ago when I found out about this meeting, and quite honestly, I really admire you folks getting up here and speaking your mind, because you have a lot of questions about this consolidated dispatch center. And you know what, I do too, and a lot of residents within Dearborn also have a lot of questions. And the reason why I'm coming here is to find out and gauge the pulse of this community, what you feel about the dispatch center. And I will tell you, I was in uniform as a police officer for the city of Dearborn and at the University of Michigan Dearborn for almost 38 years. So I've got a little bit of experience now with consolidated dispatch centers, but some knowledge about calls for service and some statistics and what have you. So I do have some concerns. I'm not necessarily against this, but definitely need a lot more information. The residents of our city, the city of Dearborn, need information, and quite honestly, I'm going to tell you, we haven't been getting it. Within the last several months, I've been asking a lot of questions on some of the blogs, and it's really kind of amazing that a lot of our citizens don't know anything about this either, let alone now your residents really haven't learned anything about it until recently too, even before the council meeting recently. But what I wanted to ask though, and I just wanted to get this on the record though, were any of the Dearborn City Council members contacted about the meeting and invited to the meeting?
They were aware because it was publicized. Sorry. Yes, sir.
I did speak to the president of the city council, Susan DeBaja.
So Susan DeBaja knows about the meeting tonight.
And she said that the city council of Dearborn did not hear a word about this issue until 2 weeks ago. I don't have any information.
Imagine that.
Okay. And I also want to make you aware then too, the city of Dearborn, the next council meeting is next Tuesday, June 14th. And coincidentally, some information you may not be aware of too, this is a hot topic in the city of Melvindale. They also have their city council meeting next Tuesday at June 14th. And if you have any, they might be voting on this next June 14th, what I've been able to learn earlier today. So that's something to keep in mind too. Okay, so I can't speak for any of these communities, and I'm not about to, but a lot of things that you have already touched on tonight, I was going to ask, and I'm just going to go over a couple questions here. I had a whole page full, numerous questions to ask, but many of you asked some of the same questions. I do have some thoughts that 2 fire channels and 2 police channels with the possibility of a 3rd channel may not be enough. There was a question too, I would have to double check the statistics, but you're talking about the calls for service on that one page that was discussing the cost for the dispatch. And I believe it said 37,000 or so for the city of Westland and 72,000 right. for Dearborn.
Yes.
Those aren't emergency calls, those are calls for service. So, I mean, there's a difference between 911 emergency calls and calls for service. And then every time you call a dispatch, is that going to be tabulated into the cost? Or is this strictly for emergency response? I'm not sure about those statistics. It's been a while. I've been retired from Dearborn for 14 years. I don't know what the calls for service is now, but I'm sure it's considerably more than when I retired in 2002. But I do want to make mention, I don't know if that's good enough to have that many, but does it have the capability of being improved or expanded upon in the future? Just some questions to be aware of, and maybe ask those questions in the future. It was touched on about the governance. It does state in that paperwork that you all have a copy of about the governance structure that Dearborn has sole authority. I had one gentleman that came up here and just talked about looking online about some other mergers like this with consolidation. And I will tell you too that usually in other consolidations there is joint representation. There's a civilian neutral director, or there could be something similar to an advisory board or an oversight board or a committee of some sort. So I mean, it's just something to think about. I don't know the whys or the wherefores, because we haven't been notified in the city of Dearborn. Our residents don't know anything about this either. The third thing, and this has only been touched on a little bit, is what about the liability? Dispatchers, this was touched on too. Are they going to be intimately knowledgeable about each community that they serve? You know, like the landmarks and so on, and that's something that's very important. I'm going to tell you, there's dispatchers that go out there and do ride-alongs, you know, with officers to learn the cities that they serve and so on, but not necessarily are they going to encompass 7 communities and go out there and do ride-alongs with everybody. I do have some concerns about this, just as all of you do. Please be on your city council and your administrators to give you information. You're not going to be privy to information, and a lot of us in the room, myself included now, being gone for so long, we're novice. You know, we're not experts in the field any longer. So there's going to be a lot of things you may think why, the wherefore, but there may be very good, legitimate reasons for doing things that we really don't have enough knowledge and experience. And that's why we have our elected leaders. They're making decisions for us. So therefore, I would hope that City Council, I'm Mr. Abelhak, I've seen you at many council meetings. I've watched you on TV for years ago. I understand, and you've questioned City Council a lot. City Council to say they only knew about us 2 weeks ago? I don't think so. I sat in all the budget meetings recently for the city of Dearborn. I know $650,000 has been allocated from their budget for 2016-17, you know, for the dispatch center. So I don't know where that information came from, and I don't want to say that that's in fact what they're saying. But City Council in Dearborn Heights don't know very much information about it. I know there's other communities. I've seen some of the information from Garden City, seen some of the information from Melvindale. The residents don't know. So why are we being kept in the dark? I want some information, and I'm just as concerned as what you are. That's why I wanted to go last, folks. This is your meeting.
Thank you.
This is